What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're covering some more r/am I the butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below, but if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too, as it all really helps out our channel, and I can't stress how much it really does. Now, firstly, yesterday we did have some new members on our channel. We had Dalton Grady, Panda Lily, Amanda Riviera, Lubomir Durkak, so sorry if I got that wrong, and Patricia. Thank you so much for your support to the channel, and I cannot tell you how much it means to me, and for everyone for taking the times out of your day to be here. It's just absolutely amazing of you to do so, so thank you so much. And with that being said, let's crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. And we have a spicy lineup today, starting with Lego My Lego. Am I the arsehole for suing my ex and her boyfriend? My ex and I divorced 3 years ago. She was cheating, but at this point I don't care about the relationship anymore. The pending lawsuit has nothing to do with her or him, but rather their actions. My ex and I have a son, 13 male, that we split time with 50-50. He's a great kid. Their interests have changed a lot, to be honest, as I imagine more kids/teenagers tend to do through the years. One thing my son was heavily into at some point was Legos. He used to play with them all the time, and personally I think they're a great toy for different reasons. I used to love playing them with him, and to this day I still collect boxes that I leave unopened as a collection. Well, when my ex and I divorced, she got with someone who loved Legos more, I guess. From what I know, he loves making creations and building the sets in. I don't care, seems cool. He does one thing I think is very weird. He uses crazy glue so the sets can't break or pieces can't be lost. It seems so weird to me. Oh, we've seen the Lego movie, oh my word, we know where this is going.
Wait, where are we?
The issue is, I was out of town for all of 3 days last week for medical reasons, and my son wanted to get his PS4 so he could play it at his mum's. This isn't out of the ordinary at all, and he has a key, so he let me know he'd be stopping over for it. I told him to have fun when I saw him on the entry camera. My wife's husband was with him, which was a no-no. I told him via speaker to not go in and to wait on the porch. He flinched but walked in anyway. I sent my ex a text telling her to call him and tell him he's 1 minute away from a cop call. He left my home with a bag in hand, which I didn't think much of because my son had his games too. Well, my son texted me later that evening and said he didn't know it at the time, but he's pretty sure SD took some of my sets. These are all old sets and 2 are worth big money. When I got home, I confirmed the missing sets and called my ex. She had no idea, but he admitted he took them, but it was so son could have the sets to complete his collection. My son doesn't even like Legos anymore and told his mum he wouldn't steal from me. My wife asked how much it would cost to replace them, and unfortunately it's more than their savings. Actually, it would take their house down payment plus more. I told them if they didn't pay within 2 weeks, I was suing them and pressing charges. The price in the sets makes it a felony. My ex and her husband are saving for a house which will give my son more space when he's there, but those sets were going to help pay for his education someday or a home of his own. I filed the police report and have talked to a lawyer, and we're moving forward with a suit. Everyone is calling me a joke because they're just toys, but I don't get it. They are worth real money. I'm not rich, guys. I needed those to help with my son's future, but again, taking this money does deny my son things at his mum's house. Am I the arsehole here? Edit, I've been asked to add these facts. The sets have been opened, which more than half their worth, and one was glued together. The damage was done already. The stolen items are King's Castle, Milk Truck Lego Land Train Carousel, and the glued one was a Star Wars Snowspeeder. Some of these are one piece of larger sets, so if you lose one of 5, you lose the value of one produce plus the value of the set as a whole. Second edit, ex-wife and the boyfriend are the same as ex-boyfriend. I'm just a bad writer. Third/final edit for the post. I know I haven't been here much, but I have read many of your comments and have taken them to heart. I know my spelling is poor, guys, and I apologise for the format. Calling me names in private message was not called for, and I'm not a scalper. I enjoy buying these sets and do not intend to sell all of them, but I want my son to go to college and not worry about debt, so I want to sell the ones that I can to help. I never had the smarts for higher education, but my son is not me, and I love him and want him to do better. Around 4 PM, I called the local state police and met at their facility. I gave them all I had and gave my statement. My son is staying with me tonight, so when I picked him up, I sent him into GameStop and called his mum. I told her I'd filed charges and I asked the cop to call me when everything was done so I could give him the opportunity to turn himself in. I wanted to be better than he treated me. I'll save her reaction for a real update, by the way. Can someone please tell me how to update, because I don't really understand the steps in the main notes. I told my son when we got home what I did and why. My son said that I did the right thing because he didn't want his stepdad to think it was okay to do it again, and if he didn't go to jail, he'd rather be away from him, so it isn't weird. Now, the biggest trigger for me in this story was gluing the sets together. Who does that? What crazy person does that? It's just like from the Lego movie, the bad guy in that film. And yes, I'm a huge fan of Lego. Don't have any myself anymore, but I remember used to building the sets and absolutely loving it. But also remember how bloody expensive they are. And they've only got worse with time. I mean, some of these Star Wars Lego sets, let me just have a quick Google here. And I mean, the Death Star on Amazon at the minute is £549, man. I mean, come on. I mean, people love this sort of stuff, but I just look at it and these days and think, oh, it just sort of takes any joy out of it for me when it's that sort of price. And I mean, compared to some other sets, it just doesn't look that intricate. It just looks like, wow, this is Star Wars. Let's put a huge price tag on it. But yeah, anyway, I'm going off on one. What I'm trying to say is, like, it doesn't really matter if it's Lego. It doesn't matter if it's a car. It doesn't matter what property it is. This person stole from you. So absolutely you should sue. They shouldn't just get away with it for having shitty behavior, right? And I can almost see where you're coming from, that it might affect your son, you know, and his future life in this new house. But this is on them. This is all on them. This is nothing to do with you. Why should you lose money for the fact of their bad behavior? That is all I got to say. So not the arsehole in this situation, but Mad Pirate says not the arsehole, looking at it from just a monetary value. I don't believe your friends would be saying the same if he had stolen X amount of money. He shouldn't have entered your house without permission, and he shouldn't have stolen the sets. He broke the law. He faces the consequences of his actions. It's about as simple as that. And Punda Bear says, wait, so someone who you didn't want in your house entered your house then took something from you? How are you anything but not the arsehole? And Opie replies, they're arguing that I'm denying our son a bigger living space while she has him. This is actually true. Well, not be denying it, but it would take all of their savings for a house and they'd still fall short. And Tiger Kitten says, not the arsehole. If it wasn't anybody's to take and your ex struggles on providing, well, they shouldn't have stolen your shit, should they? Now, I turn this one to you guys. What would you do in this situation? Would you still sue knowing that it might affect your child's future in their future home or whatever? Even though it was stealing, would you sue for that? Let me know in the comments below. And it seems there is a stealing trend going on Am I the Arsehole today? Very, very spicy. And our next story is from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for pressing charges when my stepson took something my daughter inherited from her mother? I, male 47, have been with my wife for 2 years. She has a 21-year-old son, and I have a 14-year-old daughter from my previous marriage. My late wife passed away in 2014. She left a few things for our daughter, including a gold jewelry set. Her mum was devastated she didn't get to gift the set to her daughter on her wedding day. I kept it in my closet since it's expensive and my daughter is too young to have it. I'll hopefully gift it to her on her wedding. Last week, we were sitting in the kitchen when my stepson was hesitant to ask me something. We're in good terms, but we have our fair share of arguments. He said his fiancée was taking something from his mother's and my closet, saw the jewelry set and liked it very much. He asked if he could borrow it so his fiancée can wear it at her cousin's wedding. I found this unacceptable. I told him his fiancée had no business being in the bedroom and that the jewelry isn't mine. It's for my daughter. He asked me if my daughter would agree to let him borrow it if he talked to her. I told him not to even talk about it again. He got all pissed and said things I do not remember. Saturday night, when he and his fiancée were at the wedding, I discovered that the jewelry set was gone. I told my wife and we looked all over the house. I called my stepson to tell him about calling the police because I really thought someone stole the set. He said there was no need, that he borrowed it and will return it after they get back from the wedding. I yelled at him and told him to come back with it right then. I kept calling him until 12 AM when he told me to stop calling and that I'd bring it back in the morning. I couldn't sleep that night. I felt terrible. In the morning, he showed up at 10 AM. He didn't bring it and started saying he forgot he'd bring it the next day. At this point, it was clear he gifted it to his fiancée and was stalling. I got so mad, I told him I would be pressing charges if he doesn't return the set today. We got into an argument. My wife said his fiancée was the one who wanted the jewelry set, but he was the one who took it, and it's not even mine, it's my daughter's, which made it worse, because I'm responsible for whatever happens to it. His grandparents berated me after I told them this and got mad and defended him when I said I will be pressing charges. He stole and needed to be responsible for his actions. He didn't respond to my final call, so now I've given him one last chance and it's over. I pressed charges today. They're saying calling the police was extreme and cruel. They're all convincing me to back down. Am I the arsehole for pressing charges? He was replying to me sarcastically when I said I'd get the authorities involved, and he didn't take me seriously. His mum said she'd tried to talk to him, but I had enough of him stalling and hopefully I'll just let it go, so he can make his fiancée happy. I feel like an irresponsible idiot. I can't even look at my daughter without feeling frustrated and infuriated. I'm hurt, but what's worse is that my daughter's property that I couldn't take care of. My wife allows them into the room, although I told her not to several times. They're not kids and there should be some boundaries. I just needed to mention that we're in Europe. Now, like the last one, these stealing ones are never going to be, they're never going to be an arsehole. Mainly because, you know, that's your property, someone stole it, it's that simple really. But I do like reading them because I do like finding about the drama that goes on in people's lives. I know, as I always say, nosy bastard. But it always goes through my head what the person, the thief, is actually thinking, to think this is acceptable, to be going into someone's room, taking jewelry that you've been told no previously, and just still doing it anyway, still stealing it, and, you know, gifting it to someone else. Why? What goes through your head to think that is acceptable? Sue away, my friend, and do not look back. Stairs motherfuckerly says, not the arsehole, and don't back down. A 20-something stepkid is stealing your daughter's heirloom. The family are all flying monkeys. What is this? I've heard this a couple of times now. Flying monkeys, what? Fuzzy Mike says, not the arsehole. You gave the son every opportunity to return the jewelry. Let the cops sort out the culpability of your son and fiancé and get a safe deposit box. Mums and the grandparents' attitudes show that this isn't going to be the last thing that goes missing. And just gotta keep Duggan says, not the arsehole, but be prepared, this may be the hill your marriage dies on. And Teresa says, not the arsehole, also tell the police the name of his fiancée so they can recover the jewelry. And RM says, not the arsehole, he stole your dead wife's heirlooms that were meant for your daughter. Now, I would even go directly to the girlfriend and explain the situation. Surely someone in this post has got to be normal and have some empathy for what's going on. Tell her that it's, you know, your dead wife's heirlooms and they were meant to go to the daughter on her wedding day. If she can't see that, then they have some serious issues, man. And this next story comes from Any Woodpecker. Am I the arsehole for telling my husband's ex not to worry about our baby? So my husband has 3 kids from a previous marriage. He has full custody of his oldest son, but has visitation of his twin daughters. I'll call them C and K. They are 6 years old. Well, she dropped the kids off tonight. My husband was in the other room and I let them in. She was telling the kids goodbye and said, "Oh, C told me you were having a baby. Is that true?" And I just looked at her and said, "Well, we weren't telling anyone yet, but yes." Then she started asking me all kinds of questions, like when the due date was, what I was hoping the gender would be, and how my husband was probably wanting another boy. How I'm feeling, and I couldn't take it anymore, and said, "This is my baby, not yours." She just looked at me and said, "Well, sorry for asking," then left. My husband came out and told me that I was rude to her for no reason, and that his ex just likes babies. I told him that she didn't need to know anything about our child and it's none of her business and she should only worry about her children. He thinks I'm being an arsehole for no reason. I didn't ask her about her baby she just had with her husband because she is just an ex to my husband and not part of our family. I don't care what she does or how many kids she has, so why should she care about ours? Am I the arsehole? Now, I might be wrong in going down this road, but to me it still feels like that person is part of the family. You know, the husband does have kids with this woman, so in some way, some twisted way, she is still part of that family. And it doesn't sound like the questions were malicious or anything like that. She sounded like she was just, genuinely wanted to know how you were doing and trying to get involved with you, unless it was in a weird tone or anything like that, but you can't tell from this post. And it almost sounds like you have some sort of like resentment or jealousy towards this woman still. And it's like, why? When she sounds like she's being quite amicable in the situation, and surely that's the perfect situation when you're dealing with kids coming into the house, and you're having joint custody of children. Surely that's the best situation. Two families working together to raise these children rather than making an enemy of someone. I don't know though. Let's check out some of the comments to see what they say. And Nope says, you're the arsehole. She was trying to be nice to you. She is part of your family and will be for the next 12 years until the kids are all adults. I know her questions may have seemed invasive, but you definitely could have handled it better. And Roach Coach says, you're the arsehole. You were rude to her for no reason. Asking basic questions anyone would ask, like, how do you feel, doesn't mean she thinks it's her baby. So that was an unhinged response on your part. And Annapura says, you're the arsehole. Actually, she is part of the family. She's the children's mother, so even peripherally, she's part of the family. I get being pissed that he told her already, but wow, take several chill pills. And RB says, you're the arsehole. You hooked up with a guy with 3 kids and an ex. You don't get to act like they don't exist. And there is going to be an overlap between that world and your world. Get over yourself. If you're so insistent on keeping secrets, let your man deal with his ex and the twins while you hide in another room. Now, I turn this one to you guys. What would you do in this situation, and how would you feel about it? Do you think that OP is overreacting, or do you think there's something deeper going on here? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole telling my ex-wife to calm down about my apology? My ex-wife and I have been in therapy with our youngest son, 19 male, because he was arrested and kicked out of college for his drug issues. My son said he would not do therapy unless I was present because he talks to his mum all the time and he's sick of her always trying to make him feel better. He said all he keeps thinking is that he needs me to be there more than he needs his mum right now. So I call him to therapy and we start working through a lot of what he says is causing his anger issues. And how he can be nicer to his sisters, 21 female, 27 female, who he says he hates because they are, respectively, dating a jerk, an anorexic and jobless. At the end of it, my son appears calmer and walks out, leaving my ex-wife and I there with each other. During the session, I internally accepted my son's accusations that I was a workaholic, from my late 20s to 40s. I was working 10 to 14 hours every day. I felt like nobody appreciated me at home the way they did at work. I also thought my kids have been more grateful instead of complaining that their peers made fun of them for wearing the same things to school when they were perfectly good clothes. I also struggled to deal with my ex getting rushed to the hospital multiple times because she was having a stroke, but doctors determined it was psychosomatic and caused by distress. After my divorce, I continued to be a workaholic. But when I saw my now wife cry when our daughter 1 said her first word in front of me, I realised I was going to miss everything. So now my employees know that from now on, I'm not doing anything work related after 6:30 PM. I now get home before 7 and don't care if I'm late for a meeting if it means I can spend extended time playing with my daughter. The insecurities and emotional turmoil of being a first-time parent I see in my wife a lot, and I've been the one to tell her to calm down and let go of grudges, and that some things are too petty to worry about. And I started realising that all that my ex-wife said about family being so much more important and that I needed to be less petty and let things go were right. I didn't know when I'd have a chance again, so I turned to my ex-wife and said that I was sorry I dismissed her lectures about what's really important in life when we were married, and I understood finally what a joy it is to spend time with my 1-year-old in a way I couldn't spend time with my other kids, and to not get angry at the little things, and I thanked her because her words have made my life so much better. My ex-wife started crying and saying, "How dare you say that to me now?" She began ranting about how I did owe her for the person I am now, but that she and our children deserve what I'm going to my wife now. She told me that I changed when I got successful and never seemed to believe that she loved me then, so I keep my apologies to myself now. I told her I was just apologising the best I knew how, and I'll leave now, but I told her to please calm down. Am I the arsehole for trying to make amends? You know, in this story, it's kind of, well, it's not a tough one, but it's kind of hard because, you know, the apology does sound sincere, it does sound genuine, and the person did turn their lives around to make it better, which in some ways should be commendable, and it doesn't make him the arsehole for, you know, being a better person now. I know it's way too late, but now. But then going back to your ex-wife and saying this sort of stuff, like, you basically went back to her, the way I see it. You went back to her and you said, you know, I messed up with you guys. I messed up with this family, but I've got a new family over there and we're all doing great now because I've changed my life. And this is down to you. Thank you very much for that. This is all down to you. Let's put the past behind us and let's move on, because well, our life over here is great. I know you guys are struggling, but don't worry about that because we've got a great life. And so I can totally see where your wife is upset and said, like, keep those apologies to yourself. I don't need to hear that. And whether that can change in the future or not, I don't know. I doubt it will, because I think your wife will always see resentment of what you've done, looking at that family and your great new life. Well, you know, she had to struggle bringing up 3 children while you was working all day. So I can see where she's coming from. I think you do need to keep that apology to yourself and prove yourself in other ways, right? Wow. But No Long says, I think the phrase too little too late is very applicable in this instance. While it's nice that you want to apologise and perhaps have seen the error of your ways, that doesn't take back all the years of neglect that your previous family felt. Imagine how your kids must feel of being pushed aside for your new family. You're the arsehole. Sometimes you just have to accept that you fucked up and you don't get to make amends. And Better on the Bird says, you apologise doesn't mean that she has to accept it. You messed up with her and your previous kids, and your sorry does nothing to fix or change it now that you've moved on. You can't change what you did, and it's good that you've grown as a person, but you need to let go if she doesn't want to forgive you. Not the arsehole for apologising. Also, telling someone to calm down never ever ever has a good outcome. It doesn't help anyone. If someone is upset, you don't get to tell them to stop being upset. You're the arsehole for that. And Autumn Rain 789 says, wait, are you saying you left your family first, start a new family, and you are treating them better than your original family? If so, yes, you're the arsehole, and not just you're the arsehole, but also king of all the you're the arseholes. Now, what do you guys make of this situation? Now that OP has turned their life around, you know, they got a new family and they've changed and realised the error of their ways. Yes, it's too little too late, but is there any way that they can build a relationship with their ex-wife to get back onto level terms? Or do you think it's just way too late? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and what would you do? Once again, guys, thank you for being here today. Thank you for the constant support, the rejoins, and staying with me for all this time. It's absolutely amazing. I can never thank you enough for what you do for me. It's absolutely bloody incredible. Thank you. You're amazing people. Do not forget that. I hope you have a great day ahead of you, whatever you're doing today. I just hope it's fantastic for you. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love to you. Goodbye.